So, what we now understand, this is not work which indeed we could have done ourselves, but you have thousands of genome sequences on the internet now, because thousands of species have had their genome cloned. And if you look at this, if you make an analysis, you can see that all the molecules of innate immunity present in fly are already present in sea anemones, in sponges, present in worms, in crustaceans, cephalochordates, and of course, I've pointed out, in vertebrates. It's even so, this is an interesting point, again unexpected, that the innate immune system of sea anemones has many more members than that of Drosophila, and is much closer to that, to mice and humans. Why is that? Because we should not look at the flies and Drosophila as something which has appeared millions, hundreds of millions of years ago and has remained as it was at the time of its appearance. But all these groups have evolved their own agenda. And flies, as I've pointed out, have restricted the repertoire of molecules which activate the innate immune system to peptidoglycan and beta-glucan. And they have simply discarded organizing other potential inducers, in contrast to, of course, what we find in the vertebrates. Now, let me then say, so that probably innate immunity, I can formulate it this way, innate immunity probably appeared about 1 billion of years ago. At least this is what I would have said until a few weeks ago. But now, again to my utter surprise, we have noted in the laboratory, a postdoc has done really a very good screening of the genome sequences available for protozoans. Now we find that in Cryptosporidium, which is a protozoan as you may know, and in Plasmodium, and in Leishmania, you have all those molecules of the innate system already present. NF-kappa B and so on, and NF-kappa B, and even nut-like receptors, which again, as I mentioned, have been discarded by the fly. Now, it's time to conclude, and I have just 2 slides which I go through with you on the concluding remarks. And I would like to say that our understanding of antimicrobial defenses has undergone in the last 30 years a paradigm shift. And I noticed that the organizers like the term of paradigm shift also at this meeting. So here we have really an example of a paradigm shift. No one of us would have predicted in 1990 that this view would come up for today. As the analysis of the highly sophisticated adaptive immunity, which is essentially a lymphocyte-based immunity, has made spectacular progress. There have been 23 Nobel laureates dedicated last century to work on the lymphocyte immunity, on adaptive immunity, in contrast to the one to Ilya Mechnikov on innate immunity in 1908. So while the analysis has made spectacular progress, the relatively poorly investigated innate immunity has revealed its high degree of sophistication, complexity, and efficiency. And in this last slide, then, I would say in particular it has become apparent that innate immunity accounts for 100% of successful antimicrobial defenses in 95% of all animal species existing today. And probably, and this is a point which was raised by Ralph Zinkernagel recently, 95% of our own defenses rely merely uniquely on innate immunity. And we now understand that the relatively low number of microbes, which evade innate immune defenses, and which we refer to as pathogens. What we call pathogens are the ones which evade the innate immune responses. It's clear now. And to my surprise, this was not my field, but I learned in meetings with colleagues from that field, and probably many in this audience are aware of that. Of the millions of species of bacteria, there are only about 50 which are a threat to human health. Of the millions of species of fungi, there are probably about 12 which are a problem for our health if we are in good condition. In immunocompromised people, of course, the number increases dramatically. For viruses, it's difficult to say. It's difficult first to say what a virus species is, and then if there are millions or billions or trillions, no one can tell. But again, there are not that many, probably for the time being about 200 well-defined viruses which are a threat for humans. So basically, the innate immune system, which is a system which is not primed, not adapted to response, that accounts for 95% of our everyday defenses. And then, if that has been breached by those pathogens, then the adaptive immunity is activated, boosted by the innate immune arm. And that is my take-home message, and I will not just express my admiration and gratitude to the people who have been in the Strasbourg laboratory over the years. Some have left, others have come. Danielle Hoffman was my first doctoral student. She also became my wife. At that time you were allowed to court you, but you had to sign that you would remain until the end of your life with a person. What we do, the end of life is not there yet, but we're together. Charles Hedger was a chemist, unfortunately has retired now. Jean-Marc Reichert, whom I've mentioned already, is a molecular biologist, also Drosophila geneticist. Bruno Lemaitre was the first Drosophila geneticist whom I could hire. That was just after his PhD defense. He has done seminal work on the saga on the toll receptors and the MD pathway, as has Dominique Ferrandon for the MD pathway and Julien Boyer for the MD pathway for recognition of PGRPs. And Dominique Ferrandon is still in the laboratory. Jean-Marc Reichert also is now the head of our laboratory. Jean-Luc Dimarc is a biochemist, is Philippe Delay, and they have done enormous work on the antimicrobial peptides and have allowed us to identify some of the molecules which were required for us to do the analysis of the signaling pathways. And finally, and this is part of the future, Jean-Luc Guimelot will be the head of our laboratory next year, has developed a very interesting work on viruses, and I had no time to go into that, but that would be a seminar on its own. And Elena Livashina works on the malaria parasite. She is now in Berlin at Max Planck Institute, and she will come back supposedly next year. And I'm showing here our new insectary, which the University of Strasbourg kindly finances us for 7 million euros. It's not fully completed yet. We are serious in Strasbourg, but not that ready. And so these scientists, in addition to working part-time on Drosophila, also work on mosquitoes. And my last slide will just acknowledge work on other laboratories in Drosophila immunity. There are many laboratories are working on this system. And so with that, I would like to thank you very much for your attention. And I wish you a very nice evening. I'll be with you at the reception. And maybe we have time to talk about insects.